Here at When Pigs Fly, every loaf tells a story of patience, precision, and passion. While most bakeries rush through their process and produce bread in a few hours, we spend 48 hours crafting every single one of our loaves. It all starts here with our sourdough starter tanks. We spend 20 hours every day regenerating and feeding our starter tanks so that we can make an authentic sourdough starter that we put in every single one of our products. This is the heart of every single one of our loaves. At around 1 a.m., once the starter is ready, we begin mixing. It takes an hour, but this step sets the foundation. It's not just flour and water, it's about building gluten structure and preparing the dough for a long, natural fermentation. Now we're in our bulk fermentation room. Here in our bulk fermentation room, this is where all the magic begins. For the next 3 hours, the dough ferments naturally. Our wild yeast creates deep, complex flavors and makes the bread easier to digest. So this is our rolling and shaping line. At this step of our process, each loaf is gently portioned and shaped with precision. From there, our team rolls each loaf in rice flour, a natural, traditional way to help the dough release cleanly from the basket. Every loaf is then placed carefully into its own basket and racked for proofing. This step keeps the dough structure intact and prepares it for long fermentation that follows. We're now at the final proofing step. This is our proofing system over here. In this step, we let the dough rise again during its final proof. These 2 hours help create the open, airy crumb that defines our true sourdough. After the final proofing is complete, we go over to the cold fermentation room for our last step before the bake occurs. And here's why we slow everything down. The dough rests in a 41-degree room for 14 hours. A long, cold fermentation that builds incredible flavor. And now we're over here at our tunnel oven where the bread will now be baked. Now our dough becomes bread. These loaves travel through a high-temperature tunnel oven that delivers consistent, even heat from end to end. The metal belt is blazing hot, instantly setting the crust and creating that deep golden color we're known for. Inside this oven, moisture gets sealed in, crumb develops structure, and the crust forms that unmistakable sourdough crackle. It's a precise performance bake that honors every hour of work that came before it. After baking is complete, we come over here to the cooling side of the operation. We cool each loaf naturally for 4 hours. Rushing it would damage the crust and texture we spent 2 days developing. Finally, once each loaf is cooled and reached the perfect texture, we slice and package it with care. This step protects the crust, preserves the freshness, and ensures that when our bread reaches your home, it tastes just as it did when it left our bakery, exactly the way we intended it.